Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Schmaze. How's it going? Kilrathi. Good morning. God morgon. Good morning. So, let's, hey, Dearbird, Hellraiser. Let's throw some topics out there. Let's get rolling. Let's do it. Hellgate, Tokyo. That's interesting. Sweaty Fat Pirate. That's awesome. Sweaty Fat Pirate. Just two topics. Hey, good morning, Michal. Topics. Tormod, throw me some topics. We got Hellgate, Tokyo for the Sweaty Fat Pirate. Dead Forest Trooper. Decaying Fairy. Decaying Fairy, that's a pretty cool one. That's 4. 2 more. 2 more. Or we only have 4 today. Alright, let's just have 4 then. This damn dice. Number 3. Nightmare Hunter, unlike that's cool, but it's number 3, which is Dead Forest Trooper. Yeah, it was 4 too many times. Dead Forest Trooper by Michal Eve. Rachwal. Raw. Kilrathi, is it? That's weird. Shouldn't be from my end. Alright. Kuro, good morning. Hey Michal, congratulations. Alright, let's start the timer. I think I have an idea. Let's chase that idea. So my idea was, which I got, was like Dead Forest Trooper. Right, so I was thinking Trooper obviously like Star Wars. But I thought that initial idea, like, nah, that's too specific. Wouldn't allow me to be creative, and well, it would, but it would require me to know exactly what a trooper in Star Wars look like. I only know approximately. Good morning, Tormod. Anyway, so I went to like, okay, maybe Forest Fairy, and I thought that would be a cool idea. And then I thought, why not make like a undead forest fairy, like with some sort of virus that's like growing in the fairy while it's kind of undead, but more like a parasite. So that's what I'm going for, like a parasitical invasion of a forest sprite or like a forest fairy. Um, um, so that's what I'm gonna try to chase after today, like some sort of zombies forest sprite, um, infected, that she's it's dead, and some sort of worm parasite is just kind of chomping away and eating. And a trooper, in the sense, it's a soldier of the forest sprites. Maybe even like, like super vulgar, uh, like not vulgar in like sexual content, but off-putting, like coming out of the mouth and just completely taking over the forest sprite. Guru, yeah, I tend to go that direction. Definitely, I like to play with anatomy and the formations and things like that. It's fascinating how you can transform something relatable by forcing something else into it. It's a simple little tool to use to make something different. But yeah, most likely I'm overusing it. That's a good point. I could do a ban of all things deformation wise, or rotted or infected. Just to challenge myself. But I mean, that being said, a lot of other artists don't really change what they're drawing. They're just drawing the same thing over and over. So maybe I'm not that bad. Blue waffle? Or is it something you shouldn't Google? I have a vague memory of talking about blue waffle, the topic of things you shouldn't Google. Well, the problem is the like comfort zone thing, right? Like I agree. I don't think you can call it comfort zone because it's not. I'm not drawing the same thing, even though it's the theme has infected in it. Hey, Jordy. Hey, Lurib. Good morning. But it's fun. I like to play with, like I said, I like to play with the idea of like infected or mutated or changed physiology of something. It's a fun thing to do, especially when you have to come up with something on the fly like this. How's it going, wonderful people? Lou Rib and Jordy. I wanna actually change that hand to parasitical thing. Hey Mario Silica, my 2D character concept design video. Which one is that? Good morning, Captain Jetlag. Schmaze, most likely, he likes certain ways of making a story of his concepts, right? He's very story driven. Um, I think it's a simple tool to use to create like what's it called, cause and effect for a visual look of something. What's the narrative of the design rather than um, but if I would just draw him without the infection, it would not be the same. Good morning, Svetlana. Oh, Brendan's stream, right? Yeah, that's a pretty good one. It was a fun interview. That's cool, Jordan. Well, no, I haven't really studied it. I have a basic understanding of it. Um, that's another thing I used to enjoy doing is, let's say, looking at the reference of a horse or a dog, like enough times, so that general information is in there. But then uh, I also have a quite good understanding of what's it called, biomechanism. Is that what it's called? Like how muscles work and joints work and so on. And I like the idea of crafting my own physiology, but based on kind of how things would work roughly. Obviously, not like super detailed uh, reinvention of anatomy, but general function, and also what causes the look of that function. It's fun. I enjoy doing stuff like that, especially like inventing uh, new creatures that's already been designed, like a dragon and so on. How can you play with anatomy functionally um, so it looks differently? Marius, that's cool. I completely forgotten about it. Uh, it was a fun interview. He's a cool guy. For people who don't know, I was on a stream, on a Twitch stream of a guy called Brendan Bington. He's a ZBrush guy, 3D guy, and I was a guest there. He interviewed me, and while I was painting and talking about design and so on, and random stories, like these streams, the general, complete and utter rambles of a madman. Yeah, exactly, Michael. Um, that's why, like, the few times I've designed stuff like that, I've always played with anatomy, so the functionality is more driven than the stereotypes of what that should look like. Right, I designed a dragon for a Viking game, and I made it into a six-legged dragon because for me it didn't make sense that it should be four. So the wings are actually arms as well. So when it's walking, it tucks smaller legs in front, but when it flies, it uses those for navigation and landing, and so on, like a bird uses it its legs and stuff like that. But it was fun to design. And I'd worked on a vampire game and designed the wings, so on. I tried also to adjust the anatomy of the vampire itself to make sense of where the wings were and stuff like that. Let's see. Let's try to. Some sort of forest sprite um, accessories. Michael, yeah, I'm definitely just like Da Vinci. I'm right there next to him in skill level, of course. That's the natural parallel to be drawn. You know, Bjorn, Hurri, Da Vinci, that's more or less the same thing. That actually touches on a subject I was thinking about a lot over the years when it comes to concept art and so on, and mastering your trade in the sense of like the old masters. Like, will there be any more masters? Let's say a concept art field. Is it too commercial for you to be deemed as a master? I'm not talking about concept artists fanboying over uh, established seasoned artists, but actual like master level, um, you know, in general public. I mean, if anyone, Sid Mead would probably fit that bill, right? He's been designing stuff, iconic stuff since 70s. Uh, so I don't know. I'm not sure there's going to be any. Maybe only in the like in the fine art field, you know, where you can spend months on a painting, uh, years even, where you can't do that in concept art. Not on a single painting, you know. Svensson, well, I mean, he's good, but is he a master? You know, like, is he of that level? You know, that will stand the test of time. You know, like, I'm doubtful that he is of that caliber. I mean, he's good. They look pretty. We like them, but well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would love for that to be true, though. But a lot of us, we live in the bubble of concept art. We don't. Normal people don't care that much. Well, but look at that design. That design is awesome. And normal person would like, right? How about the football game yesterday? You know, it's a very niche thing to care about. Not everyone cares about it to the same level like we do. Sad but true. in that regard, like we deem, let's say, Theo Prince as a, up there artist, but I don't know if general public would. Well, the thing is, um, also Hellraiser, I don't think it's a matter of them changing something of art history to deem them as a master. I think it's just like biggest is mastering their technique and their specific style. And if that style is so strong, it causes change in the art community, then it's a good sign that something is done correctly. Um, but if you're gonna do make that what's it called? If you're gonna have that as a benchmark for what the master is, then I would say Craig Mullins is definitely um, is one of those that will go down in history, art history of you know of the field. Anyone can look at Craig Mullins, concept artist or not, and be impressed by it. I think a lot of people do appreciate old masters. Just look at any art museum um, of the old masters. Everyone, bazillion tourists every day all over the world go and look at these old masters just because the skill level, the execution that they've managed to perform is hard to understand for a person that's not in the um, art field. The general public looking at a Rembrandt will go like, how do you even start painting that? While we will go like, oh, he used burnt umber or whatever. Um, exactly, Svensson and Kuro. And that's also a bit of my point. Is like a lot of what we do is quite commercial. It's a product that we're designing, right? And painting. It's not really fine art. It's not really like Mike Hill, a well-known concept artist, also touches on this subject in his lectures. Is like there's no storytelling anymore. There's no purpose behind the concept art. It's all about just design. How amazingly you can design fingers, intricate designs of robot fingers moving. Rather, what's the purpose of it? Well, why is it designed this way? What's the message that you want to communicate? And I agree wholeheartedly. It's like there's a lot of concept artists that don't care about narrative. They just care about designing something. And I think um, if you look back at, like, let's say, fine art masters, they do have a message that they want to communicate. Well, most of the times you can always argue that they don't. Dadaism or whatever. Uh, it's a hard thing to put into concept that is a commercial, aimed for a commercial product to tick enough boxes to sell X amount of units. You can't be too expressive or too private or personal in the design because it needs to fit as many hands. The glove needs to fit as many hands as possible. You know? um, it's a tricky thing, I think. Svensson, yeah, exactly. I think I'm in the same boat. Like I love the design. I love to create the world, right? I love the narrative aspect of tying everything together, create something that has never been seen before, and creating like experiences for people. And I think in order to do that completely, you have to understand what you're doing, and that's why I love doing concept art, because it's very easy for me to understand, and I can practice the whole narrative aspect while doing my job, right? And I teach myself to grow while teaching myself a trade that pays the bills, right? And I could do all the fine art stuff. What do I want to say on the side until the the seesaw gets enough weight to this point, to the side where I'm sought after for my narrative and fine art rather than my commercial art, right? And then it becomes more about storytelling, narrative, and the journey I give the viewer in my own decisions, in my own art, in that sense. Um, I think that's why I'm doing a lot of projects on the side. Like I never just go to bed after work. I constantly chase the kind of the narrative aspect. Like I have games, I have movies, books, all these things. Like I want to experiment with applying the lessons I'm learning to a product so that more and more traction is given to that aspect. Because commercial art, it's all good, it's practicing a skill set, but it comes a point where it becomes empty. And the while you're practicing telling a story at the same time as doing work, eventually, like I said, that the weight will be shift, and people will start to hire you for the narrative and your strong designs because you've been practicing them over the years. I think that's something that's was everyone is kind of going for. Yeah, Jordy. That's why it's also this cool with art is that there's something for everyone, you know. All right, 5 minutes left. Time to go silent. Blocking time. Focus mode. But it's a tricky subject. Like where do you wanna where, where do you wanna go? I mean, I don't mind doing production art at all. I love doing designing characters and worlds for a product because it's the designs I do themselves might not hold a lot of narrative, and I let the narrative to be dealt with the creator of the product. It's a compromise I'm willing to make, um, while practicing the trade. But it's not like I'm just making a rectangle just going to stand in an empty room. I'm designing something itself. The design itself can evoke emotions and imagination, and then the design will be placed in a world which interacts with it. It's not so dry.
you know, it's quite engaging as well. You know, I do have a lot of say when it comes to designs, because sure, the art director, the external art director, chooses which designs you submit or that you have submitted, or chooses out of the designs you've submitted. But in essence, you are the designer regardless. Even though they give you the direction, it's up to you what to design and convince them from your imagination why their product should look the way it does. Right? So it's not so bad. You know, depends on where you are in the pipeline, of course, and your experience level and so on. But it's not something that's out of reach for everyone. Everyone will get to that point the more they work in the field. You know, you get more and more seasoned. You get more and more track record. Clients trust you more and more when they see that you've done work. You know, they can already make a judgment like, okay, this person has worked on these products. I like these products, so in theory, I like the artist that worked on them, right? And and look at like the art for. I think it's a really interesting point. Like the art for Dishonored 2, um, they chase the fine art route a lot more than other products. Um, Obviously, they're designing a product, so the art that they did for it has been implemented as a product. But it's really interesting. They had even exhibition and everything of the art that was produced in a museum that people could go and look at, and you know, the ZBrush model like heads um, were first made in clay. I want to help to boost the read of the infection by yeah. Again, it's completely silent. Time's up. Right. That's it.
Yeah, Jordi. Thanks, Svetlin. Uh, thanks everyone for coming. Thanks, Vincent, and thanks for the topic, Michal. It was a fun one. This stream went really fast. I was talking a lot about that, and it's a good one. Um, have a great day. Good night for some of you, and see you all tomorrow morning. Bye. Outro. Insert here. Diddly something. I don't know. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Bye.